Okay, and if basically everybody that's on this call, you know, is really not too new to oils, so we don't really have any newbies. So if there's any questions that go on in the chat, if, you know, Francis, Sharon, you know, if you guys want to just kind of keep an eye on the chat and answer any questions. All right, want to welcome everybody to the class. And this is actually kind of a special class for me. Like I said, I had a lot of fun putting these slides together. I know, Joyce, I know you always tell me don't reinvent the wheel, but I have a hard time just using a pre-made presentation. So there are times where I might borrow a slide, you know, some of the basic, you know, the basic things that you know, say over and over, but most of these slides are you know, put together just with a, you know, maybe a thought. And so the thought that came into my mind was olfaction and the sense of smell. Just kind of seeing something that I wanted to learn more about. And so as I learn, then I can share with others. So today's class is going to be olfaction and essential oils. Now, those of you who are on, if you know anybody who is interested in this, you can send them a quick text, copy and paste my Zoom link and send it to them. And if they come late, just let me know. You can either send me a text or not, and I can kind of quickly fill them in, kind of the same way we do on the Thursday night class. So, all right. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about the olfactory bulb. All right. So when we're talking about olfaction, the olfactory bulb is where olfaction occurs. Now, as you see, there's an awful lot of nerve endings that are coming from that olfactory bulb into the sinus cavity. Now, to maybe just a little something to take home with you, the only place where our nervous system is in direct contact with the environment is going to be through this area right here, okay? The olfactory bulb. All right, so the olfactory system. I kind of like this slide. Well, I like this picture because it kind of gives just a very simple breakdown, not very complicated, but yet it does have some of the processes as well as the anatomy there too. So the olfactory system is responsible for our sense of smell. This sense, also known as olfaction, is one of our 5 main senses and involves the detection and identification of molecules in the air. Once detected by sensory organs, nerve signals are sent to the brain where the signals are processed. All right, so that is the response of all of these nerves that actually go through the epithelium of our nasal cavity. And so this sense is something never to be underestimated of the importance of this sense. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. So the power of aroma. This is just a little article by Dr. David Hill, which he's the founding executive and the chief medical officer, the chairman of the scientific advisory committee of doTERRA. And whenever Dr. Hill speaks, I listen because this guy is real smart. So our sense of smell is the frontline modality by which we experience the world around us. However, many people may underestimate its significance. By comparison, humans have a weaker sense of smell than many animals, which must use smell for sustaining basic life function, tracking food or identifying a mate, etc. Although your nose may not be as acute as that of a bloodhound, you can still detect thousands of varieties of odors in how do you say that? Infinitesimal quantities. Only in recent years have researchers begun to unlock the complexities to make up the sense of smell, and in turn have reported that smell sensitivity is actually much more significant than previously predicted. In fact, our sense of smell is directly linked to our physical and mental health profiles. So this is something that Dr. David Hill wrote up. And I just thought it was just, it was exactly what I wanted to talk about today. So there's two smells that I thought to talk about. Roses, undoubtedly the most popular, pleasant smelling flower in the world. You literally don't even have to think about what a rose smells like. You already know what a rose smells like. And that's pretty interesting how that we commit the sense, the smells that we smell, we literally commit them to memory. So if you were to pick up an essential oil, and this would actually be a fun game to play, is to black out the labels of the essential oils and pick them up and make people label the smells, make them identify what smell this is. If you picked up a bottle of rose oil, there would be no doubt in your mind that that is a bottle of rose. So it's pretty interesting about the rose oil. Now, jasmine, many people don't really know what jasmine smells like, but I will say I planted a jasmine bush by my front door. That's when I was getting it from the nursery. They told me, they said, plant it by your front door so you smell it as you're coming into the house. And jasmine is an unbelievably wonderful smell. So anyway, rose essential oil has been widely used in perfumery. And then jasmine oil, I'm sorry, in addition to its popularity in the fragrance industry, it's also used in body care, cooking, aesthetic and therapeutic applications. And it's the petals themselves, along with the oil that's extracted from those petals, that are actually noted for mood-enhancing effects, increasing a feeling of well-being. We're going to talk about that just a little bit today. All right, I really like this slide, or these pictures that I put on this slide. The 30 best smelling essential oils. If you want to take some snapshots, of course you see floral, rose being the very top. Jasmine is right up there. Ylang ylang, I'm very, very glad that it made that list, because ylang ylang is probably one of my most favorite smells in the entire world. Aside from Arbor Vitae, which I'm hoping Arbor Vitae is on here. Let me take a quick peek. Arbor Vitae is not. Arbor Vitae would be under woodsy or earthy, because it literally smells like cut trees. I was trying to get my grandkids to appreciate the smell of it. And I'm like, doesn't it, don't you feel like you're walking in the woods? And they're like, yeah, it smells like straight up cut trees, which is exactly what it smells like, which is why I like it so much. Did you know, I searched for a little bit to find these pictures of these dogs, because, dogs are always smelling, right? The average human only has 5 million. Now I say only 5 million smell receptors, but a dog, 125 to 300 million receptors for smell. So you could say that we only have 5 million if you're going to compare it to a dog. So you ever wonder why they stop to smell everything? Well, it's because they can smell everything. Many things that we don't smell, they're smelling. And this is a common sight to see, out on the, on the street, but your dog is pulling. Why? Because they want to sniff. How many, I can't count on my hands and my toes, how many times I took my dog for a walk and they want to smell every tree, every mailbox, every fire hydrant, everything they want to smell. This one dog that I used to watch, literally from the minute we walked out of the house practically to the minute I drug him back into the house, he was sniffing the ground. It was like, could you put your nose up and, enjoy looking at things? No, he wanted to smell everything. So what's so important about this sense of smell? Well, there's a lot of things that are important about the sense of smell. One is the health. There are certain smells that all humans find repulsive, mostly because these are smells that warn us of danger, like the smell of smoke or rotten food. Two good examples. How many times you open up maybe a bag of cheese and, all of a sudden you get, a whiff of something. It's like, oh, I don't want to put that in my salad or on my sandwich or something. And, you know, so that smell, it tells you something. Sometimes before you can even see it, you can smell it. The same thing with smoke. They say before you see the fire, you smell the fire. So unpleasant and bad smells actually trigger your body to send pain signals to our brain to warn us of possible danger. Now that's pretty cool. The inability to use your sense of smell can have a profound impact on your quality of life. Anosmia, which is the official name of the condition when you lose your sense of smell, they often discuss feelings of isolation and being cut off from the world around them. Anosmia patients also talk about experiencing a blunting of the emotions, which explains why smell loss can negatively affect the ability to form and maintain close personal relationships and can eventually lead to depression. The memory. Now, this is so true. You know, you can when you're walking on the beach, I mean, absolutely, the smells are all around you. As kids, when my dad used to take us to the beach, we would literally be able to smell the beach before we even got close to the beach. You could smell the salty air. There's just something about the smell of being on the beach. It's just a wonderful memory for me. So another close connection that smell holds with you and your life is with your memory and how you recall memories. The sense of smell is more closely linked to memory than any of the other senses, right? So whether it's your taste, whether it's your sight, when you smell something, it embeds within your memory. And studies have shown that people can remember a scent of 65 or with 65% accuracy after 1 year, while visual memory sinks to 50% after only a few months. So you might remember the way somebody smelled before you remember the way somebody looks. Anyway, have you ever come across a whiff of the scent that immediately transports you back to an old memory? Whether it reminds you of your mother's delicious home-cooked meals or the salty waves of a faraway beach paradise you haven't visited in years, a distinctive scent sinks into your brain and stays there. This can often happen spontaneously, with a specific smell acting as the trigger in recalling a long-forgotten event or experience in your life. And this is so true. When I would go see my mom would wear, it was like a powder and a perfume and a body wash. It was called Gina Tay. I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but the smell of that reminds me of my mom, Gina Tay. There's a lot of people that actually have signature scents. Like, you know, my daughter, Rachel, she diffuses Purify. And so I was letting one of my, we were having a little roller bottle party, and one of my girls picked up the Purify, or one of my granddaughters picked up the Purify, and she took a whiff. She said, "Oh, that reminds me of Rachel's house," because Rachel diffuses Purify. So how we remember the smells of people's houses, people's perfume, the beach, right? There's all of these smells, different foods. We remember these smells. It's I find it very fascinating. Something that I would actually even want to look into even more. All right, and an emotion. As we mentioned before, the sense of smell is linked to the parts of the brain that process emotion. Now, there's a scientist, his name is Dr. Alan Hirsch, and he conducted research studies that explore the ways in which smell affects human behavior. And he once was quoted as saying, "The part of the brain that smells and tastes is part of the emotional brain where our personality lies." And I thought that was kind of interesting, curious as to, exactly what that means. But the perfume industry definitely understands that there is a connection between smell and emotions. Perfume developers create fragrances that aim to evoke an array of emotions and feelings. Now, what about the sense of smell when it comes to taste? The smelling sense can also affect our sense of taste. Around 80% of the flavors we taste arise from what we smell. Ever wondered why you can't taste food as well when your sinuses are acting up? When your smelling ability is impaired, so is your ability to taste. And some people have even been influenced to change their eating habits because of impaired sense of smell. And adding all that extra salt and seasonings to your food can potentially lead to some serious health problems down the road. So gotta be sure to keep that in good shape. Now, one thing that I can definitely say is there have been times maybe I would just be driving down the road, or I don't know, just maybe be walking somewhere, and I get a smell of a food, and I'm like, what is that? I want that food. There's something about that smell. But then maybe somebody else is like, what are you even smelling? I don't, it doesn't resonate with them the same way it might resonate with me, or and so this is so true, that the sense of smell, when you smell something good cooking, when you wake up in the morning, before your hearing, before your sight, before all of that comes back to you, you can literally smell bacon frying, or eggs on the in the pan, and that type of thing. You can actually smell those things before your hearing returns, before your sight returns, when, of course, like I said, when you're sleeping, when you're waking up from a sleep. All righty, and I thought this was actually kind of interesting, and I don't fully understand this, so I'm certainly not going to say that that I'm an expert on this, but time. So your sense of smell can even affect the way you perceive time. Now, the same scientist, Dr. Hirsch, he led a study into the way that smells can influence your perception of time. In one of his studies, participants were exposed to a baby powder aroma, a coffee aroma, and no aroma. And I would like to, get a little bit more understanding on this study, but what was said is, while the coffee aroma produced a perception of time that was reduced, the baby powder aroma produced a longer perception of time. Pretty interesting. Likewise, pleasurable fragrances and perfumes have been shown to create dwell time in stores, which increase the likelihood of consumers making purchases. So you're more likely to stick around when it smells good. Kind of interesting. Now, aromatherapy is a form of alternative medicine that uses plant materials and aromatic plant oils for the purpose of altering one's mood, cognitive, physiological, or physical well-being. For example, lavender fragrances have been used in nursing homes to calm residents and emergency rooms to calm worried visitors. Additionally, hospitals, treatment centers, and nursing homes are prone to musky smells and malodors, making it imperative that the facilities invest in a scenting solution. It was definitely something that I thought about, because I used to go and visit really good friends. Some of you know her name is Nancy. She was in our congregation. She did pass away at the nursing home. And one of the things that I remember is walking into that nursing home, and probably for the first 5 minutes, your sense of smell has to get used to that smell once again. It's not a very pleasant smell. And, and I definitely thought when I was, doing this class, I definitely thought, it might be a good idea to, actually try to introduce, some aromatherapy, into these nursing homes. I mean, even if you just, put them up by the door where the front desk is, to kind of, greet the visitors with a more pleasant smell, rather than some of the smells that we know that linger in nursing homes. All righty, I thought this was really cute, really interesting for all those mommies that are expecting babies. I really like the idea of putting the Breathe on the little one's feet, because they say that the Breathe oil is more than just to open the sinuses. It literally invokes a very restful sleep, whether it's noisy, whether there's, maybe your mind is racing with it. They say that this oil is very, very helpful to promote a good sleep. So there are many acceptable ways to use essential oils for their aromatic properties. One method is to diffuse the oil into the air. Not only does diffusion make the oil accessible for the body, but research indicates that there are also air purification benefits when diffusing oils. When diffusing oils, the use of a cold air hydrofusion is best, because because burning or heating essential oil can actually alter their delicate chemistry. So that's why always to get that ultrasonic diffuser. That's the best one to get, rather than, you know, putting it on a little burner with a candle underneath it, because the chemistry is actually altered. All right. And now if you don't have a diffuser, just like what this woman is doing, she's, you know, putting the drop of oil in her hands, cupping it around her mouth, being careful for her eyes, and taking deep inhalations. And that's actually a very convenient way to get the oils very quickly into your body. And just to make note, this is the quickest way to get it into your body, is through inhalation. Not only does it go into the olfactory and directly into the brain, but our lungs, when you consider the surface area of each lung, okay, we've got 5 lobes of lung, 3 on one side, 2 on the other. And the surface area of the alveoli, that's the whole reason why they're designed the way that they are, is to increase the surface area. Why? So that we can get more oxygen in and more carbon dioxide out. The greater the surface area, the greater that can happen. But also, with that great surface area, when we inhale essential oils, they go into our bloodstream in short order. Okay. Now, if anybody who understands the whole transfer process that happens in the lungs, you know, the capillaries run by, it's got carbon dioxide filled blood, transfers through that capillary into the alveoli, and then the reverse is also true. The high oxygen levels in the alveoli transfer into the capillary, to the heart, to the body. Bam. It's a great process, actually, that, you know, that God's created for us. But also, when you inhale essential oils, immediately they are able to get into our circulation. That's why when we've got inflammation in the lungs, that's why you're cold, you're tired, you have low energy, and these are, you know, life-threatening situations when you've got a lot of inflammation in your lungs, and that's why, you know, pneumonia is so dangerous. Alrighty, purify the air. If anybody wants to take a snapshot of this, I thought this was kind of a neat little diffuser blend. 3 drops of lemon, 3 drops of lavender, and 3 drops of eucalyptus. At first, I was thinking it was going to say peppermint, but no, 3 drops of eucalyptus. Very, very interesting. And I really like the spearmint. I love the island mint. And I just love that spearmint smell. I love that minty smell. And here's some really neat diffuser blends, lavender, lime, and spearmint, and citrus bliss and spearmint. I've actually got a really interesting diffuser blend going on. It's going to come here in just a few more slides. But anyway, if anybody wanted to take a screenshot of that, Kitchen Fresh. Now this sounded really good, which is why I added it. 1 drop of lemon, 2 drops of peppermint, 2 drops of basil, 2 drops of rosemary, and then 2 drops of vetiver for a kitchen blend. I'm surprised when I put these blends together. It's like, how on earth would you even thought that this would have gone so well? But anyway, they're always, it's just always a pleasant surprise. This is what I'm diffusing right now. 3 drops of lime, 2 drops of geranium, and 2 drops of spearmint. And I'm going to tell you, it smells wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Now, is it safe to take essential oils internally? Now, everybody that's on this call, you know, already understands that it is safe to take oils internally. Let me just double check who all is on here. Okay. All righty. All right, there we go. Can an oil be taken internally? Yes, if it has that supplement facts label. Now, everybody that's on this call already knows that, but that's a question that I'm asked so often. So I thought that this picture, explained it very well. All right, I wanted to talk a little bit about putting your oils in veggie caps. Here is an awesome doTERRA flu balm. Get yourself some veggie caps, which are super duper cheap. 2 drops of lemon, 2 drops of melaleuca, 2 drops of On Guard, 2 drops of frankincense, 2 drops of oregano, and I would have never guessed, 2 drops of copaiba. We're going to talk a little bit about copaiba. All righty, lemon, lavender, and peppermint. Who all knows what that's for? Allergies. 2 drops of peppermint, 2 drops of lavender, and 2 drops of lemon. That is the allergy remedy. Now, there's a long history of essential oil use and the internal ingestion. We're going to talk just a little bit about putting them in a glass. All right. Now, a lot of times we kind of shy away from this. However, there are some pretty interesting ways that we can actually just drop them into a glass, and here they are. Look at that lemon raspberry summer water. Doesn't that look so good? I just want to make it right now, except for the fact that I don't have lemons, I don't have raspberries. All right, and here is the doTERRA detox drinks. If anybody wants to go ahead and take a snapshot of that. All right, I wanted to talk just a little bit about copaiba versus CBD. Now, this was a very interesting study. I must say that I thought about Lou time and time again. I'm not sure if Lou is there in your earshot of this class, but I thought about you quite a bit, Lou, because a lot of these words were words that I heard you say. All righty. So copaiba. Here's some of the benefits of copaiba. It eases discomfort caused by headaches and migraines. It gives relief from congestive problems and respiratory issues. It reduces the appearance of wrinkles, blisters, marks, and pimples. It helps lower blood pressure and prevents heart diseases. Now that one was very interesting to me because I never thought of copaiba in that way. I did know that it was good for the cardiovascular, so I don't know why I didn't think that. But now I've got a new oil that I can recommend to people when they ask about high blood pressure. That is probably the one health concern that I get asked about most is high blood pressure. Probably because so many people have it. Copaiba also stimulates urination and helps to cleanse and detoxify the body. It's an effective remedy against athlete's foot and nail fungus, and strengthens the skin against lesions or wounds that appear with aging. So this essential oil is a powerhouse. I absolutely love it. And this is what the copaiba leaf looks like. It contains beta, and this is where I think about Lou, carophyllene. It's the same pain relieving properties as cannabis oil, but at a higher concentration. Now that is something that I think I would like to go into a little bit more at another time because that was very interesting to me, the little study that I did on it. What was interesting is, all the receptors that we have and how that copaiba literally binds to all of the receptors, whereas CBD does not. All right, so CBD versus copaiba. For one, copaiba is much less expensive. For two, it's 100% drug-free with zero risk of having THC. All right, so with the CBD, it's always like, okay, does it have THC? Does it get you high? Is it legal, right? Copaiba is 100% legal. It's not from the cannabis plant, so using copaiba has a zero chance of affecting a drug test People are always asking that. If they use CBD oil and they take a drug test at work, is it going to affect it? And there's a lot of controversy with that because it depends on what CBD oil you're using. And one of the really neat things about it is you really can't trust your sourcing with CBD oil. I'm not saying that CBD oil is bad. It's not an essential oil for one, but it is not bad for you if you're getting it from the proper sourcing, right? That's a problem. And then also the THC levels is a problem because nobody wants to get high. Or, well, nobody on this call does anyway. But doTERRA does more testing than any other company in the world. So you know it's free of pesticides. You know it's free of heavy metals and contaminants. All right, it supports the health of the cardiovascular, immune, digestive, respiratory. It's a powerful antioxidant. It calms and supports the nervous system, promotes clear and smooth skin, reduces the appearance of blemishes. A wonderful oil is copaiba. And here are some neat diffuser blends if anybody wants to take a quick snapshot. One of the things that I really like about copaiba is where it's sourced from. It's sourced from Brazil. And that's where my daughter-in-law is from. And she tells me how abundant copaiba is there. They literally take the oil and they rub it on their babies, and they use it so much in Brazil. We here in America are kind of just finding out about it. It is fairly new to doTERRA. I think it's, what, 2 years old maybe in doTERRA. But I'm so thankful that we have it, because you know, a lot of people ask, you know, I don't want to take CBD. Can I take CBD? And what I do is I offer them an alternative to CBD. You don't have to worry about what's in there or what's not in there, right? And copaiba is much more comprehensive than CBD. All right, wanted to talk briefly about the top 10 essential oils. Most of you that's on this call already have these top 10 essential oils, so I'm not going to go into this, but these are the top 10. These are the ones that at all cost should be in your home. Maybe I shouldn't say at all cost, but these are the 10 oils that should be in everybody's, these should be in everybody's home. And here is a really, really cool throat gargle. You're feeling a sore throat coming on. 1 drop of On Guard, 1 drop of lemon, 1 drop of melaleuca. Put it in just a little bit of water, because when you gargle, you don't want a whole lot of water, otherwise you're choking on it, right? Just a little bit of water, gargle it, and hey, if you want, swallow it. Also, just to mention, the CPTG certified pure therapeutic grade, that is the standard that literally doTERRA created. doTERRA's oils are the safest, the purest, and most beneficial essential oils in the world. They are used in hospitals throughout the country. And doTERRA is actually opening up clinics that I cannot wait to be able to visit one of them. And here's an amazing room freshener. Fill a spray bottle with 8 drops of purifying wild orange and 1 cup of water. I actually, my daughter, I was at last week when we were doing a roller bottle party. I gave her a spray bottle, and she put some purifying, some water, because I kept on commenting on how stinky Randy was, their dog Randy. He must have been outside sweating or something, because he was stinkier than I ever remember that dog. And I kept on saying, Randy, you stink. And so my daughter Brittany made up the Purify and sprayed it all over him. He didn't seem to mind. Okay, most people on this call or on the Zoom are taking the LLVs. If you are not, please get with me and I will send you some sample packs of the LLVs. This is the baseline for anything that you can do with your oils. In other words, this should be done beforehand, right? So we put things in order of priority, right? You know, our to-do list is order of priority. This should be priority. The oils come after this, because these things are actually giving you missing vitamins, omegas, not just the omega-3s, but this is giving omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9. Plus, this is giving you some essential oils that are absolutely critical in your good health. And they will be found, or would be found, in this really cool Healthy Habits Kit. This is probably my most favorite kit of all because I use every single thing in this. I mean, I use everything in the other kits too, but this one is more, well, it's just, everybody's got their own different preferences. And then the Healthy Essentials, favorites for your mind, for your body, for your spirit. And then there's the Healthy Start Kit with the 10 foundation oils and a cute little diffuser, which I think actually they're giving this diffuser, which is larger, in place of this one. I don't know, that for some reason I think this one is out of stock or something. Anyway, all right, these are the 2 free items that I'm giving away today. All right, so your pick of either the black or the purple essential oil keychain with some stickers for your oils and a sanitizing mist, which is a must-have to keep in your purse, backpack, or travel bag. Literally, this oil, anything that you touch that you feel some kind of a way about, a door handle, a countertop, a keyboard, a phone, a toilet seat, whatever it would be that you've got some, maybe you're thinking it's got the heebie-jeebies on it or something, spray a little bit of On Guard on it, and then you don't have to worry anymore. Anyway, that is the end of my class. I'm going to stop share, and I am going to